It's done. Served her yesterday. I had her served yesterday. For those asking, I wasn't in a good state of mind to write about it yesterday. Still not really, but I will get it off my chest. I woke up and left the house, got myself some breakfast while waiting for her to leave for work, rented a truck, went back home, and changed the locks. My friend and her husband came over. He brought a friend, and we packed up her things. We loaded up our bedroom furniture that I got her as a wedding gift. My couch, my dining table, just all the furniture she defiled, took it to storage. Put all her clothes in garbage bags, was going to throw her dirty clothes in with a clean by my friend wouldn't let me. We got done after 11 a.m. At around lunchtime, I bought flowers and chocolates and went to her work. I went and gave her the flowers and Candy gave her a big hug and kiss. She was all smiles and blushes. Her co-workers were doing the "ow, that's so sweet" thing. I told her that I would love to take her to lunch, but I had to go get a check-up on my leg, but to not make plans for the night because I wanted to give her a night she would remember. I gave her a goodbye kiss and started walking out. At this point, I'm going to start calling her GM, fucking Tom, or FT. As I was leaving, I saw her boss and gave him a big smile and said, "Hey, fucking Tom, how are ya?" Gave him a wave and left. Then I went and got some lunch. At 2 p.m., a deputy would be walking into my wife's work to serve her. At 2 p.m., I was standing in front of the FT's house. I texted him the picture I took on the day I caught them. I took a selfie in front of his house and sent that too. I knocked on the door and Mrs. Safety answered. She knows me a little bit from parties and things my wife's work had. I told her that my wife and her husband were having an affair. She didn't believe me. I showed her that pictures first I took, and I showed her a selfie they took while my wife was giving him a blowjob on my couch. And she fucking slapped me. I just stood there and she started crying. I gave her a thumb drive with everything pertaining to my wife and her husband that I had. I told her my wife was cheating on me with multiple men. Get checked for STDs. I gave her my lawyer's card and my number. Then she asked why I was doing this to her. And to be honest, why did I do that? I hurt her pretty bad. I feel like the biggest piece of shit for doing that. I told her she had a right to know and felt like an asshole for giving her that answer. As I was leaving, that's when my phone started blowing up. Didn't answer any calls or texts. I just went home. When I got home, I changed my FB status to divorced. I started reading the text from my wife. What the fuck is this? What are you doing? All that shit. I messaged her back and told her she could come to the house at 7 p.m. and not 1 minute before to get her clothes. Apparently, FT didn't tell her what I did right away, as I imagined he had his own problems at the moment. My wife sent me a text a little later, motherfuckering me up and down for telling Mrs. Safety. So he did tell her. My friend, that cover-up for my wife, gonna call her Amber, started calling me. So I answered. I answered with, "How long have you known that my wife and FT were having an affair? Please don't lie to me." And she told me what I suspected. The whole time. Since before my wife and I had met. The whole fucking time. All this time, I was the side piece. My whole marriage is a sick fucking joke. Let me tell you, that That's a bitter pill to swallow. I asked her why she didn't tell me. She said it's because they thought I would go apeshit, get violent, and such. I told her that she knew me better than that. She said she kept the secret because she was her friend. What about me? Wasn't? I asked her if I knew her husband was cheating, wouldn't she want me to tell her? As a friend, wouldn't I be obligated to tell her, know something she should know? She said yes. So I hung up and sent her pictures my wife had taken of her and her husband and texted her back with my lawyer's number and said that my lawyer has everything I know. Then I told her never to contact me again. At about 4 p.m., my wife showed up at the house and found out about the locks. She started banging on the door and yelling. I didn't answer. She tried calling again. I turned my ringer off. Then she broke a window and left. At close to 7 p.m., two deputies parked out front. One is one of the people that helped me move stuff earlier. His wife showed up. Also my friend. 7 p.m. rolls around and my wife showed up. She looked pretty subdued. Pretty sure her and Amber had gotten into it by then. I gave her her clothes, the storage key, and the dress. My lawyer's card told her that all contact with me will be through her. My wife started with the I love you crap. We can work this out. She's sorry. She loves me. A mistake. She doesn't love them. It didn't mean anything. I just pointed at my lawyer's card. She said that it's her house too and I can't kick her out. I told her it's my home and that she literally fucked herself out of it. This when she got really loud. All the I love yous turned into fuck yous and I hate yous. The deputies turned on their lights and neighbors had come out to gawk at the train wreck. I remained fairly calm and had my hands at my side through this. She kept screaming at me. I think she might have been drinking. She started crying that she had nowhere to go, and when I told her that I don't care, well, I learned something new about my wife. She can throw a right hook. Gave me a fat lip and a bloody nose. Did it move? I just stood there and let her do it. She tried scratching my face. The deputies restrained her. I declined pressing charges. Told them to just make her leave. They filed an incident report so I could get a TRO. Actually, I'm glad she did that. When she left, I went back in, and while I was cleaning myself up, all the shit I should have been feeling for the last 2 months started to hit me. I'm pretty exhausted right now. I thought I would feel better after this all got out. I don't. I feel fucking awful. I'm not someone prone to crying, but I've been doing a lot of that since last night. There's almost 600 unanswered texts and calls on my phone and growing. I'm going NC with our mutual friends. I don't want any of them trying to mediate things. I'll sort them out some other time. I didn't call my son last night. I've always called him every night. I'll tell him tonight. He'll probably not be upset by the news. He wasn't fond of her. Caught my male 43 partner, female 46, with another man in her hotel room. This will be a bit of a long post, so please stick with me. Backstory: 11 years ago, out of the blue, my wife had told me she wanted a divorce. We had a 2-year-old at the time. That divorce went through and the custody was split 50-50. Fast forward 2 years and I met my current partner. She was in her mid-30s at the time and it was pretty clear she wanted kids. After dating exclusively for a year, she got pregnant, although I was very clear I only wanted one more child since I already had my hands more than full with a child from my first marriage, my career, the house to take care of, etc. Things went quite well for the first few years of the new baby's life, although it was always fairly obvious that she resented a child from marriage number one, who was is still with us 50% of the time. In any event, we've more or less supported each other through life's ups and downs over past 5 or 6 years. There were some arguments throughout for sure, but that's true for just about every couple. About 1 year ago, I noticed she was distancing herself from me, looking for every excuse to be out of the house whenever she could. If it wasn't one appointment or work or dinner with friends, it was the gym or me time or any one of a dozen reasons to be absent whenever possible. It took me a while to notice this since it's not the type of thing one expects to have to watch out for, but once I did, I started doing some reading on why this was happening since I felt as if I'd been an ideal husband or as close to as ideal as we flawed humans can reasonably get, which led me to the demand slash withdrawal cycle in anxious slash avoidant attachment styles and the five love languages. I shared my findings with her since I thought that only fair. Things started to settle down at the beginning of the summer of 2018, or at least so I thought. In October, she was working quite intently on a project that culminated in a 1 week conference in November in another country. When she got back, we got into a huge fight about a bunch of things in our past and decided it was finally time for counseling, which we began in mid November and continues to the present. It was around her that I noticed her becoming very secretive with her phone, never letting me touch her iPad, etc. I know I'm not supposed to, but I started reading her texts where I found her talking and flirting with some guy from work. I didn't say anything at the time because I was waiting to see where it went. I'm not ignorant to the fact that people want to feel attractive to the opposite sex from time to time. It could have been a harmless flirtation. Well, her company conference was a hotel in our city and capped with a Christmas party. In years past, she has gone to conference during the day and come home in the evening. This year, she went during day one and then called to say she wanted her own room at the hotel to get away and have time to think. Except when she got back, I saw that she had texted the same guy her hotel room number. Obviously, I confronted her about it. I was livid. Her first reaction was to lie about it and deny. Once I confronted her with proof, she broke down and said he was just a friend and she needed someone to talk to, etc. Given our almost 10-year history, I decided to verbalize that I'd given her the benefit of the doubt, but the thing is, my trust in her is broken. It's just so fucking deceitful. Even if nothing happened between her and this guy, whom I had never even heard of, let alone met, now I know she's the type to do this when the going gets tough. Since then, we seem to be betterish. We're talking more, cuddling more, etc. But I'm having a great deal of trust issues now, and I'm not sure how to proceed. I don't want to break up with my family over this, but the stress of feeling like I don't really know my partner of close to 10 years getting to me. So the question is, what do I do? Wait and do nothing? Leave her, making myself a single father to two little girls from different mothers with all the heartache and headaches that come along with it? Something else entirely. Any advice? Greatly appreciated. Thanks for reading.